Bonjour très chers téléspectateurs et bienvenue à une autre émission sur le frère Zach et sur son ministère. Chers téléspectateurs, votre invité de ce jour c'est Ruth Donald, missionnaire numéro 2 au Royaume-Uni. Asseyez-vous confortablement et que l'Éternel vous bénisse pendant que vous suivez.
My name is Ruth Donald, formerly known as Ruth Angum Tani Fomum. I'm a member of Christian Missionary Fellowship International, and I gave my life to the Lord 38 years ago. But today, I'm presenting myself as the first child and first daughter of Brother Zach, as we call him, Professor Zacharias Tani Fomum. And I'll be talking to you today about how he was just our father. Many people know him as the leader. Many people know him as a professor of the university. Some know him as their friend. Some people know him as their disciple maker. But I knew my father as Daddy. And he'll always be Daddy to me. So I'll be talking about him, who he was to us, who he was to me, and how he impacted my life as a father. My first memories of Daddy is I'm less than 3 and I'm sitting on his lap. I think I even have a picture of me sitting on his lap. I have that memory that's stuck in me. And I know that I was born to a lot of joy and expectancy. My parents were waiting for me. They loved me. And my second memory of Daddy, we're back from Uganda where I was born. And we are now living in Cameroon, Central Africa. And the thing I remember about Daddy at that time, as very young, was 1, family devotion. 2, a lot of time spent with him. I remember Daddy playing Scrabble with his wife at night, and I'm sitting between his laps. I remember being at the prayer meetings when the church was still very small. Meetings were just at home, and I was sitting there. I was a very lively child, so I was all over the place. I remember him carrying me. I remember him taking me to school. I remember him sitting with me. So those are my memories of him at that age between 3 and 5. After 5, I remember Daddy beginning to present the gospel to me. I remember once he talked to me about Jesus. And all I remember is that people had to go to heaven or hell. And that Jesus Christ will come one day, and that if you did not believe in Jesus, you'll be left behind. So those are my little memories of Daddy as a child. Who was Daddy to me? Daddy was full of love. I remember Daddy as a man who loved his children. Daddy wrote so many letters to me. From the time I was small till he died. He was a man who expressed love. He would tell you, Jenny, I love you. I love you very much. He called me his darling Angum. I remember him. I miss him every time the fast is coming or the fast is ending, because he would just call and say, the girl, you've done it again, the girl. I never forget those words. I remember him as being very excited when his children did well. He was a father that was very happy when you did well in something. And so as Daddy was very, very loving. He cared for us. He met all our needs. I don't remember going to Daddy to ask for something that I needed and I did not have. At school, we had everything that we needed. So he was a loving father. He wrote letters to us. He gave us gifts. Daddy was also a disciplinarian. You had to do the things well. So I remember when I was in class 6 in primary school, I failed. I was the 10th of my class, but only 9 people had passed that term. Oh, I cried from school to the house. And I was supposed to come by taxi because Daddy was not able to pick us up with my brother. And I made my brother walk a long, long distance. For those who live in Yaoundé, we walked from central town right to Kondongo on foot because I dreaded what I was going to say to Daddy when I get home. Well, after almost 2 hours of walking, I went home and I was given a good beating for being lazy. The next term, I was second of my class. So daddy was a disciplinarian. He expected you to do well. I remember at one time my brother did not do well. He told him, take your birth certificate. I'm no longer your father. He was strict on excellence. He knew what his children could become, and he worked with everybody individually. He didn't expect something from someone who did not have the abilities. So wherever your abilities were, daddy worked on that, and he ensured that you were the best. Even when he came, I'll say something, he came into fasting. I fasted the long fast, but my younger brothers did 3 days, and he would clap for them and be happy with them. So everybody according to his ability. Daddy was strict. You had to do well in school. You had to study. You had to be the best that you could be. He didn't impose on us that this is where you have to go, because he was a man who sought the Lord and would find out from God exactly what we needed to become. So we knew that daddy wanted us to be the best academically, and he himself had been a model to us by being the best. So daddy was a disciplinarian. I also remember that daddy expected us to honor him, to honor our mother, to honor for siblings to honor each other. So at home, my brothers would call me Sister Ruth, because he didn't understand how you could disrespect. You needed to respect one another. Respect was something that was very, very up on daddy's heart, especially amongst the siblings. He also did not expect us to wear each other's things. Why are you wearing your brother's shoes? Is it that you didn't have? Contentment was something that he taught us from very young. He didn't allow us to visit friends a lot. He was very protective. Daddy was very protective. We didn't sleep in people's homes. I remember most of my life, I think I only went to Auntie Esther's house to go and study. Most of the time when we traveled with our parents. So daddy was not the kind of person who just allowed you to go to your neighbor's house. He just allowed you to go to friends anyhow. He was very protective. Even at home, as the ministry grew and things became busy at home, he would put all the boys to sleep in one room and all the girls to sleep in one room. He was a man of high morals. He didn't expect girls and boys to just play carelessly, even if we were siblings. I remember once I was coming from our leader's house, our present leader's home, Brother Theodore, and I was with Brother Sama Israel. And the difference between Brother Sama and I is at least 12 years. So I was a little girl of maybe 16-ish kind of. And we were walking and coming to the house, and Sama was holding my hands. You know how you can just hold a young girl's hands? And daddy was standing at the gate, and he saw us coming. He just took the tree. There was a tree in front of our house. Daddy cut it and gave me a beating and told me that you don't go around holding boys' hands carelessly. This is the beginning of prostitution. I think Basama was so shocked that it even impacted him. So daddy didn't believe in just being careless with men and things like that. He also brought us up and he told me, don't receive gifts from men. So all my time as a young girl, I didn't receive gifts from unmarried brothers. I didn't visit unmarried brothers' homes. He was strict on things like that. So I remember that even after being my present husband's friend for 5 years, I had not received any gift from him except food. And after daddy had approved the relationship, that's when I received my first gift from him. I mean, I remember one brother who was not married, who was very happy about my fasting life and wanted to give me a gift. He had to come and ask daddy for permission to give me a gift. So daddy raised us in high morals, raised us in discipline, raised us in righteousness, in contentment. That was how daddy raised us. So I grew up already knowing that a girl is not just free to be going around holding boys' hands. Those were things that were just uncalled for. Well, I'd received a beating for it, and so that beating has stayed with me. Also, daddy was, he loved his family. So I remember picnics by River Sanaga. We go there as a family, put our mats down, food, eat, play. Daddy was just that kind of person. He was a family man. He loved his wife. He loved his children. He treasured their presence. And he cared for them genuinely. And he showed it. He was not the typical African dad who loves and does not show it. No. He will tell you, my darling daughter. He will write to you. So many times I had little notes in a meeting, during the meeting, where Daddy would just say, my daddy, just to remind you that I love you. So I grew up with that with that father who loved and who expressed his love. I'm sorry that I didn't know I was going to do this interview. It would have been good to see some of his notes where he wrote. He took time to write letters. He took time to express love. Daddy enjoyed the presence of his children. So there were some times, I remember, not once, not twice, not 10 times, when we lived in a place in Yaoundé called Itugebe, his office was not far from the house. And he write a note and said, can you come up to my office? And most times I thought, okay, maybe he wants to send me. And then I'll just stay there for 2 hours. He enjoyed the presence of his children. He enjoyed my presence. He made it obvious. So I knew that I was loved. Daddy was a patient man. I was a daughter with a lot of weaknesses. I always call myself the slowest one in the family. It's as if I took time to get through things. But Daddy's love was there. He always thought I can become better. He was patient with me. He wanted the best for me and ensured that I brought in my best. So Daddy, he was he really wanted us to be at our best in every dimension. But I just want us to remember that at every time, he looked at you as an individual. And I did not need to be like Paul. Paul did not need to be like me. I was me, and he will challenge me on me. And my brother Stephen was Stephen, and he would challenge Stephen on Stephen. Daddy was also a humble father. And many people may not know it, but when Daddy did something, I remember 2 incidences when we came for family devotion, and Daddy repented to us. It was very humbling for us. I remember that we all went on our knees with him, feeling very unworthy that he could repent to us. Like, okay, Daddy, you don't need to do this. But he was a humble man. And he knew how to come back and say, oh no, I'm sorry about that. Also, Daddy loved to be with us. So we sang a lot for Daddy. When he was traveling, we composed songs. When he was coming back, we composed songs. And sometimes when he was tired, we ministered to him in song. And sometimes Daddy's asleep, like he's really slept. You understand? And we are thinking, okay, it's okay, no more songs. And you get up, no, continue to sing. I can't forget that voice. continue to sing. And we knew that it was not just about the song, it was about the presence of his children. It was about the fellowship and the fact that he just loved us.
Gloire à Dieu. Pour la sœur Ruth Ndassi, ZTF a été juste un père exceptionnel à la maison. Il passait du temps avec les enfants, passait du temps avec sa famille, laissant ses enfants jouir de sa présence et jouissant de la présence de ses enfants. ZTF a été juste un père qui savait exprimer l'amour ou bien manifester l'amour, soit à travers des lettres. ZTF était un homme discipliné. Il a entraîné ses enfants dans la discipline. Il a inculqué à leurs enfants la discipline et les a rendus disciplinés. Pour la sœur Ruth Donald, ZTF a été juste un homme. Il était strict et recherchant l'excellence. Il a été un modèle. Il a inculqué, il a amené les enfants au travail dur. Chers téléspectateurs, nous continuerons cette émission la semaine prochaine. Que l'Éternel vous bénisse abondamment.